John 6:7. Respondit ei Philippus, ducentorum denariorum panes non sufficiunt eis, ut unus quisque modicum quid accipiat. Philip answered him, saying, bread worth 200 denarii are not enough for them, that each one of them should receive a little bit or a little something. This is a relatively straightforward verse, but there's a couple of quirky little things about it that make it fun and sort of a workout or a challenge for our Latin skills. And in fact, that's maybe a good way to think about a lot of these verses, even in a narrative section of the text, where there's not necessarily super complicated discourse or anything, but still it can be a workout for our memory of different grammatical constructions in a pleasant way. We don't always, when we're working out our bodies, for instance, have to do the absolute maximum. Sometimes what's really good for our bodies is simply to kind of be put through kind of a maintenance routine, or just sort of put through normal paces, and that's what the body needs. So some verses are like that, and this is one. So here, Philip answered him. We've seen that construction too many times even to need commenting on. There's our dative. Comment on it anyway. That's a teacher's job, to comment on what doesn't need commenting on. There's our dative personal pronoun of the person who is being answered. And there's no explicit language of quotation here, so we've got to supply our own English quotation marks here. He says, and our subject here is panes, bread, but you'll notice this is nominative plural, right? So really, we don't say breads in English. What would we say? What would you say if you wanted to talk about more than one? What's the word we would use? Loaves, right? So in English, we've got to say loaves. We don't in Latin. We can simply say panes, plural. Loaves, and then we get this genitive phrase here, ducentorum denariorum, literally loaves of 200 denarii. Now, this is a Roman denomination of money here, used all over the empire. It's not worth getting into how much exactly this was worth. I looked just now at a dictionary that says 16 American cents is a denarius, which is doubly funny because, number one, making any kind of one-to-one evaluation of currency like that across this amount of space in time and economic arrangements and so on is sort of silly to begin with. But then also, I don't know what 16 American cents were worth when the time that dictionary was written. So just on multiple levels. And even if I did, we've got inflation this year, so who knows? So don't worry too much about what it's worth. What are we supposed to conclude from this number that we're given, do you think? And this thing that Philip says, we're meant to conclude, of course, obviously, this is a lot of money. You'd need a lot of bread, and it would be really expensive to feed all of these people. So just put American cents out of your head. That will confuse things. I shouldn't even have mentioned that. But anyway, the point is, it's a lot of money. We've got the genitive case here. Why? What kind of genitive case is this? This is a genitive of value or price. Different textbooks and grammars will call it different things. You can think of it as a subset of the genitive of quality if you want, if that's not confusing for you. But price is really the key idea here. So we'd have to say loaves of bread worth or totaling 200 denarii. 200 denarii worth of bread is the idea. So all of that, non sufficiunt, would not be enough. And this is a really useful verb for indicating a number of different senses, but especially, does something avail? Is it sufficient? You can hear, of course, the English derivatives. Does it suffice to accomplish a particular goal? In this case, no, even that much wouldn't. Even all that much bread wouldn't. And we often construe sufficio, this verb, with a dative of the people affected. So it would not suffice, and we have an equivalent construction actually in English. We would say it would not suffice eis for them, for these people who are going to eat, ut. Now we're going to have a nice, pretty textbook result clause here. It would not suffice such that, or with the result that, each individual person would receive accipiat, notice the present subjunctive here, again, because we've got a result clause, modicum quid, a little something. Really, literally is the best way to put it. Modicum, really, aliquid kind of is the idea here. A little something, people would say in the southern United States. A little something. 200 denarii worth of bread, in other words, would not be enough even for everybody to get a little modicum of bread.